Alright, so we've got Q3, week 1, and today is Wednesday. Number 1 says, how many 5/8 foot pieces of wood can you make from a board that is 4 5/8 feet long? Okay. When you're doing these types of problems, trying to figure out which one comes first is probably the most difficult. What you have to ask yourself is, what am I cutting, or what am I dividing? What am I splitting up? So if I look at it, it says how many 5/8 foot pieces of wood can you make from? So if I'm making it from a board, what am I splitting up? The board or the 5/8 foot pieces? The board. So this has to come first. So I need to write 4 5/8 divided by 5/8. As always, you change your mixed number to an improper fraction, and then 8 times 4 is 32, plus 5 makes, so I have 37/8 divided by 5/8. I am taking another step. I'm not doing the keep, change, flip all in one step. I want to show the 2 steps. Okay? Then we'll show keep, change division to multiplication, change and flip, or make it the additive, or not the additive, excuse me, just the reciprocal. Then I'm going to cross cancel my 8s. So they become a 1. So I'm left with 37/5, which then is simplified to 7 2/5. But then I need to go back to my question. It says, how many boards? Is 2/5 a board? So really you only made 7 boards. You only made 7 boards, and you had 2/5 of another section left. So make sure that your answer is just 7 boards. Because sometimes you'll have those division questions where, like, how many buses do you need to take 66 students, and 21 students can fit on the bus? Sometimes you're going to need that extra bus, right? Number 2 says to sketch a graph that does not represent a proportional relationship. A proportional relationship, we wrote down the definition, it had to be a straight line and go through the origin, correct? If you look at this, the darker line is right here. So I always just extend my darker line. I can make a line that looks like this, right? It's a straight line, but does it go through the origin? So that is not a proportional relationship. I can draw a curved line. It goes through the origin, but is it straight? So anything that's not a straight line, that does not go through the origin, both would be your answer. So there's a lot of different options out there. Do you guys understand that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Just need to make sure we're on the same page here. Number 3, John bought a cell phone for $99. I don't know where he's getting his cell phone, but when I just went to Verizon, they're not $99. And the 7% sales tax was added at the register. John gave the cashier 6 $20 bills. How much change would he receive? I first need to figure out, it was $99, and I need to find 7% of that. So I'm not doing the is over of with this problem, because this problem's a lot easier. This is number 3. So I'm going to take my $99 times 0.07. I got 0.07 because 7%. Change it to a decimal. You move the decimal to the left 2 places. Put that in my calculator, and I get $6.93. If I didn't use a calculator, you should still be able to do that multiplication. So this was the tax. So I go back to my $99, and I add $6.93. Make sure you're lining up your decimals. On the NWEA and the iLearn, you might not get a calculator for a problem like this. So make sure you're able to do it without a calculator. So then my total is 93. So it was $105.93. That's how much it actually cost for the phone. Then I need to go back to, he gave the cashier 6 $20 bills. So I take $20 times 6, and I get, he gave the cashier $120 in cash. Okay? You think this might be a simple problem to write down, because you can do 20 times 6 in your head, but when you get to the iLearn and they want to know your steps, you need to put in this step, even though you know how to do it, okay? So don't just leave all your steps in your head. Just like here, I'm showing it here. It just takes 2 seconds to write it down. Then it says how much change. So to figure out my change, I take my $120 minus my $105.93. Again, this is something that you will not be able to use on a calculator on the iLearn, because they're going to expect that you can line up decimals and subtract correctly, because this is a lot of borrowing. So the 2 becomes a 1, this becomes a 10, 10 becomes a 9, this becomes a 10, 10 becomes 9, this becomes a 10. And we've got 7, 0, 4, 1. So we've got $14.07 is the change he received. So it's a multi-step problem. It's a fairly easy problem. It's a lot easier than yesterday, but you have to show all the steps. Okay? Number 4. I'm sure some of you didn't do it, so you better write it right now. Slope equals, I want to know the formula for slope. What am I going to write down?
y2 minus y1 over x2 over minus x1.
Okay, I want you writing it down every time. Eventually I'll tell you you don't have to. Then I had a look. They don't give me my points, but the darker lines would be my zeros, correct? So then to find point 1, it's always x and then y. X goes over 1, 2. So this x is 2. Then it goes, my y would go up, so I go up 1, 2, 3. So it's 2, comma, 3. Except for, is that a positive 2 or should it be a negative 2? Negative. And then here, my x doesn't go anywhere, so it's still at 0. And then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's really important to get your points listed first. So then I'm going to write them down. My points are negative 2, 3, and then 0, 4. Rewrite them on your paper so then you don't make a mistake. And then you can go y1 or y2 is 4 minus y1 is a negative 2. No, sorry, making a mistake there, aren't I? y2 is 4, y1 is 3. x2 is 0 minus x1 is a negative 2. Keep, change, change. So it's just basically 4 minus 3, which is 1. Keep, change, change. So that's a positive 2. You need to write, this means it goes up 1, right 2. I need all of that in my answer. Now, and I'm going to explain, because I'm going to show you on this graph here. To go from the first point to the second point, don't I go up 1, and then 1, 2, over 2. So I can find a third point by going up 1, and then over 1, 2. You can find the next point by going up 1, over 2, 1, 2. Does that make sense? You guys understand how you can do that and make your line by knowing the slope? Slope is also considered your K, which is your constant. Okay, number 5, what is the ratio from the big to the small rectangle? Alright, so how am I going to do that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the length or the width. I'm going to come here on the length. There's a line here, it's very faint. But in this small triangle, or rectangle, the width is how many? 1, 2, correct? So I'm going to say the small is 2, to the large one is what? 4, right? So then, but it says we need to, the ratio needs to be from big to small. So should I have it in this direction? It said big to small. So big needs to actually be on top. So big is 4, small is 2. Then I'm going to reduce it because it's a fraction, and I get it's 2, 2, 1. Make sure you have the label, big to small. Make sure you started with 4 to 2. Showed me that you reduced. You have it written as a fraction, and I also want you to write it like this. 2, 2, 1. Because don't forget that ratios couldn't be written like that. 4, 2, 2, 1. 3 ways to write the ratio. Number 6 is like yesterday's. It's a proportional equation. Notice I'm underlining things on my paper, circling things you need to be doing the same. Then I'm going to rewrite it on my paper. P over 2 equals P minus 2 over 8. We just assume we don't know what these are, right? If I'm solving this proportion, if you solve all proportions by doing cross product, cross multiplying. So I'm going to do P times 8, which is 8P. You always list the number first, then the letter, equals 2 times the quantity, P minus 2. Keep the 8P equals, then we do the distributive property. 2 times P is 2P. 2 times a negative 2 is a negative 4. Now I'm going to draw my line. I need something on both sides of my magical line here. I need to make it equal out. So I'm not gonna leave this P here, because if I move this 8 over here, I have nothing. So it totally misbalances my teeter-totter. So I'm going to bring this P over here. So if that's a positive, it's not going to be minus 2P. Minus 2P. So now I have 6P equals a negative 4. Then, to get P alone, put a box around it, because I don't want him to move now. I'm going to divide by 6. Divide by 6. So now P equals a negative 4, 6. Don't leave it like that. You need to make sure you show me that you are simplifying it or reducing it to a negative 2/3, and that is your final answer. How many of you got that one right? Excellent. This number 7 goes back to 7 from Monday. In the right triangle ABC, this is the triangle sign, triangle ABC. M, so that's saying angle M, or M, the angle MA equals 37. So this one here is 37. The measurement of angle B is what we need to find. What do they need to add up to? 180. What is the angle C's measurement?
90.
Okay, and then you just need to show me that you're adding them together. 90 plus 37 plus B equals 180. 90 plus 37 is 127, plus B equals 180. Subtract 127 from both sides. B equals 53 degrees. If you did it without setting up the equation and just did 90 plus 37 is 127, and then took 180 minus 127 and got 53, that's okay too. But also get used to setting it up as an equation. 8. If two angles of a triangle have measures of 42 and 20, so the measurements are 42 and 20, what is the measure of the third? So I'm going to do this without an equation this time. So I'm going to do 42 plus 20 is 62. And I know that the angle measurements have to be 180. So I take 180 minus 62, and I get 118 degrees. So know how to set it up with an equation with the variable in it, and you can also do it without the variable. Go ahead and make sure that you have written down everything before you submit it.